Hello everyone, welcome to my channel 10 Ways to Wear It. I'm Alicia, and on this channel I take one fashion item or one fashion trend and show you all 10 different ways to wear it. Now of course that's not what we're doing today, and as you can see we're in a different filming location. Today's video is all about confidence, and I wanted to bring you guys to a really nice serene setting so we can talk about my personal journey to confidence and what the essentials of building unbreakable confidence is. So if you want to hear some tips and tricks on how you can build your confidence this day and age when it's really necessary, let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Okay you guys, so we have the noise of the waves in the background and you might hear some planes going over, but I wanted to do this video at the beach and here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. My first tip for building confidence and really building up your self-esteem is to know and accept your flaws. This means really accepting that you have things that you need to work on and being willing to set goals for those things. And I always say nobody can insult you with things that you already know about yourself. So if there's things that you know you need to work on, accept those things. Know that you are okay right where you are, even if you have things you need to work on. So if you're overweight and you know you need to get in shape, that's okay. You're okay where you are, but you have a goal of something you want to do. And nobody can insult you with that because it's like, I already know that about myself and I'm working on it. That's one thing that I found to be powerful. As I was growing up, I was always chubby and people would always go for the fat jokes, you know? So I just accepted, you know what? Yes, I'm a chubby girl. I'm overweight. I have things I need to work on, but I'm working on those things. So you can't come for me with that, basically is what I'm saying. So my first tip, know your flaws, accept your flaws, and accept that you need to work on them and set goals for them. And those are things that people can no longer insult you with, that they can no longer have power over you with, and that you know you're working on. So that's one tip. Let's move on to the next one. So the next thing that I had to accept and realize when I was trying to build my confidence is that building confidence is constant work. It requires a consistent effort. It's not something that you build and then you just say, okay, I'm confident, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm good for life. No, it's consistent work that you have to do. It's daily work, good affirmations, good habits, self-affirmations that really are uplifting. It's practicing good habits in your life, like eating right, taking care of your body, self-care. We see a lot going on about self-care these days. We see everybody sharing self-care videos and self-care Sundays and whatnot. There is a point to all of that, and it really does help your confidence when you are doing good things for yourself. And there's a plane going over, but we just gonna work through it. It's going by fast, y'all. But I think when you're trying to build your confidence, really exercising healthy habits is important, and being consistent about the interpersonal and outer work is important. So doing those healthy habits, exercising, eating right, it's a struggle, but you have to try to do it. But also the interpersonal work is just as important. Self-affirmations, reading self-help books, really investing in yourself so that you're constantly working to keep your confidence strong. It's not something that you just do and just check off the box and you're done. It is consistent work, and I had to really accept that because I would get to these really high points in my confidence and then I would kind of stop doing the work and I would see myself slowly dropping or see my triggers start to affect me more, and I would start feeling a little down again because I have struggled with depression and low self-esteem throughout my life. But one thing I learned is consistent work. If you want to keep it high, if you want to do well, keep working at it, keep doing the work. So like Ayanna says, do your work. That's my next tip. On to the next one. The next tip that I have for you guys, and this is something that I also learned growing up, is that you cannot build confidence when you're trying to be a carbon copy of someone else. And this is something I struggled with. I would kind of see people that I really admired and I liked how they are, and I would start to mimic them. But the thing I learned is that you cannot fail at being you, but you can fail at being somebody else or trying to be somebody else. You can absolutely fail, and it's a very defeating feeling when you're trying to mimic or be like somebody else, but you don't see the results that they have, or you don't see the success that they have, or you're not in the position that they're in. It can be very discouraging. So a number one tip that I learned when I started to really focus on building my confidence, stop trying to be somebody else or be like somebody else. Start working on being a better you instead of trying to mimic or be somebody else, because you're gonna fail. You can never mimic somebody to the point that you are in their shoes, okay? And the honest thing is, you don't know what their journey is, so you may be asking for a journey that you really don't even want. So that's my next tip for you guys. Never try to be like or mimic somebody else, because you will fail, and it's a defeating feeling that will strike at your confidence. So be the best you that you can be, and if you don't like who you are, that's something to work on. Let's move on to the next tip. So the next tip I have to share with you guys, and this is a really good one, is when you're trying to build your confidence or maintain a high level of confidence, be mindful of the company that you keep. Don't hang around frenemies. Don't hang around people who low-key shade you. Don't hang around people who show you up, who tell your business to embarrass you. Don't hang around people who always take the spotlight and never let you shine, who don't compliment you, who don't give you your moment. Don't hang around people like that, because they are going to zap your confidence. They're vampires, and sometimes they're disguised as like friends, like, oh girl, oh girl. But at the same time, when you're out in public or when you're at events and things like that, you notice that this person like really just takes all the spotlight. They never like allow anybody else to shine, or they low-key shade you, you know, little insults, low-key insults, you know, that you're like, what did she say? Or why did she say that in front of them? Don't hang around people like that. They are confidence vampires, okay? And another thing, relationships that are not healthy, so one-sided relationships, relationships where you know you're being used, relationships where, you know, you're doing all the work and that person is just taking and taking, those are confidence vampires. Those types of relationships will really drain your confidence to the point you will sink into depression. You have to be careful of the company you keep, and that's romantic relationships as well as friendships, and it can even be coworker relationships. If you have that coworker who always comes to your desk and they're always negative, and they got something to say about what you're wearing or how you're doing your work, stay away from those people. The company you keep is so important to building your confidence. You need to be around people who are rooting for you, genuinely rooting for you and want to see you win. You need to be around people who support your efforts. Like me, I have a YouTube channel. My friends watch my videos. They support me on Instagram. You know, they are for me, and they really, really show it in their actions. I'm very careful of the company I keep these days, because I've been in some treacherous relationships that wrecked my confidence. So that's another tip for you guys. Be careful of the company you keep when you're trying to build your confidence, because it can tear you down if you're not careful. Let's move on to the next tip. So the next tip I have to share with you guys for building confidence, and this is something that I learned the hard way as well, is to stop waiting to achieve your goals and do the things you want to do. Nobody is coming to save you. A lot of us have the idea that I'm just going to wait for the time is right, or wait until this happens or that happens before I start working on the things I want or getting the life that I want for myself. Stop waiting. Nobody is coming to save you, and nobody can do the work but you. You have to focus on working on the things you want to achieve and really dedicate efforts to those things, because that is a great confidence builder. You may not achieve everything you want to achieve in life. You know, some things we're just not going to be able to do. I'll never get a master's degree because I'm not going back to school anymore. But do I wish I had one? Of course. But I won't be doing that. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it. There are things that I can work towards and work on that I actually can achieve, and those are the things I want to focus on. So I'm telling you guys right now, if you're waiting to work on things you want to do in your life or do with your life, stop waiting. Nobody's coming to save you. It's a big confidence builder when you're working towards your goals, so start right now. Let's move on to the next tip. The next tip that I have for you guys to help you build your confidence is get out of the damn house. Get out of the house, you guys. A lot of us are spending way too much time in the house, and it's such a comfort zone that it really does put you in a negative place. You cannot build up your confidence if you're always stuck in the damn house, okay? Like, you need to get out and interact with the world. That's one of the best ways to build your confidence and really get to know yourself. Get out into the world. Yes, there are some benefits to being home and being comfortable having a content life at home, but you need to get out into the world. Stop telling yourself that I'm too old to do this, or, you know, I'm too fat to do this, or I just don't like the way I look or way I feel. Stop all that negative talk and get out of the house. You have to get out. It's an important key element to building your confidence. You need to get out into the world. You need to travel. You need to do things that you want to do. You don't have to travel far to enjoy travel. You can go look to local places. I live in LA County. You guys know I love going to Las Vegas. I like going to Arizona. Texas is not too far. So you don't have to go far. but try getting out of the house. It's a great confidence builder. Getting out, interacting with the world is a great way to get to know yourself better. And who knows what might happen? Who knows who you may meet if you're single? Who knows who you may meet if you're looking for a new friend or a new friend group? Get out of the house. It's the best confidence builder. I mean, I'm out today and I'm feeling so good filming this video out here with y'all, but I love getting out. I can be a real recluse personally. I'm the kind of person who I am perfectly content being home, but I've had to teach myself this is not the way to really build up who I am. I got to get out there into the world, and you do too. So if you want to build your confidence, ladies and gentlemen, get out of the damn house, get up, get dressed, and go somewhere and interact with the world to build yourself up and really be the best person and have the best life you can. Get out the house today. Okay, so this next tip is pretty deep and it's a very serious one. One way to build your confidence is to heal from past trauma. Past trauma is the reason why a lot of us struggle with our confidence. We're struggling with things that we dealt with as children or that we dealt with in our younger lives that really are just like a weight on our backs. And it can be a barrier between you and your best self. Past trauma can really be a barrier between you being your best. And the only way that you're going to reach your full level of confidence, your full level of self-esteem, and really live your best life is to let go and heal from past trauma. So whether that means going to therapy, seeking out a group or some type of, entity where you can go and express feelings about past trauma, or if it's going to be on a more personal level, or if it's even just a friend that you can talk to, work on healing from your past trauma because it's one of the best ways to start building your confidence. If you start trying to build confidence and you haven't healed, you're still going to have that weight on your back. You're not going to reach your best level and your highest level of confidence or probably anything else in your life. You have to heal from your past trauma. So that's my next tip. It's a very serious one. I have past trauma. I have things that I've dealt with as a child that still weigh on me. These are things that make me feel less than, that make me feel like I'm not good enough, that make me feel like my story isn't good, and it hurts. And these are things that I've had to go to therapy for and really deal with because honestly, they're not my fault. And so I've dealt with those and I've really achieved a higher level of confidence and overall peace, a higher level of spirituality, higher vibrations in my life because I worked on healing from those past traumas. So that's one of the best tips I have in this video. Heal from your past trauma to build your confidence. So the next tip that I have for you guys is to try documenting your highs and lows in order to identify patterns in your confidence levels. So journaling can be a great resource to track your highs and lows and to really release any feelings that you have. Journaling is something that I resorted to when I was just going through things. I said, you know what, I'm gonna start writing down the things that I feel, and it really helped me to identify patterns in my confidence and in my self-esteem. And I started doing this young. I think I started my first journal when I was probably 12 years old. I started journaling and I found it to be a really good release, but also I could look back on events and things like that and see when I started feeling down or when I started feeling depressed or when I started questioning myself or when my self-assurance started to diminish. I could look back on those events and things like that in my journals and see this really made me feel like shit, and it really helps. So think about documenting your highs and your lows, documenting the good things that happen in your life and the negative things as a way to track the patterns in your confidence and your self-esteem. It's a great thing to do, and it's also, like I said, a great release because journaling has been found to be something that is very healthy as far as a release. So writing down something is a good way to just release it. That can be positive things and that can be negative things. It's a great way to put it out into the universe, whether you're trying to let it go or you're trying to manifest it. So try documenting your highs and lows as a way to track your patterns, see what your triggers are, and really help you develop your confidence. Next tip that I have for you guys to help build confidence is to work on eliminating your triggers. Now, triggers are anything that basically starts up a decline in your confidence or self-esteem. They're the things that kind of ignite those feelings in you. A trigger can be positive or it can be negative. You can get a trigger to work out. You can get a trigger to start eating healthy, but you can also get a trigger that makes you get depressed and not feel good about yourself. So eliminating your negative triggers is a great way to start building your confidence. Now, triggers can be a person, it can be an environment like work, it can be social media. Social media can definitely be a negative trigger. It can be a substance, alcohol, marijuana. Triggers can be a lot of things, but it's important to identify them and start to eliminate your triggers in order to build your confidence. Social media can be a huge trigger these days because a lot of people see people living their best lives and they just feel convicted by it, or they feel like they're not in the position they should be in. One thing you always need to remember about social media is that 90% of people are posting the best parts of their lives. They're not posting everything. Imagine if I posted all the crap that goes on in my life. You guys would be like, what in the hell? But no, we're posting the best parts of our lives, as we should, because you don't need to be sharing everything on social media. But social media can be a huge trigger for a lot of people. If it's a trigger, eliminate the social media people that are triggering you, or the websites that are triggering you, or the pages that are triggering you, and work on focusing on more positive things, because triggers are something that can just set you off. You'll be high, flying high, feeling good, and next thing you know, something triggers you, and that can be a person that likes to argue, that can be an insult, that can be a coworker, that can be, you know, just anything, and you find yourself on the decline. So identify your triggers and work on eliminating them to build your confidence. This is super important. Okay, so the last tip that I have for you guys for building your confidence is to recite positive affirmations. Now, we're hearing so much about affirmations, but the truth is, it really does work, and that's why you're hearing about it so much. Reciting positive affirmations really does help to build you up, and when you recite them consistently and you really focus on having a pattern with reciting them, they will change your way of thinking. They will really start to change who you are, and you will manifest the things that you want to manifest. And trust me, I am speaking from experience. I started reciting affirmations every morning, and I started putting post-its around. Have you ever watched the show Being Mary Jane? You know how she used to put her little post-its around and stuff? I started doing that just to remind myself, okay, let me start reciting my affirmations this morning. So I'll post the post-it on the mirror, or I'll post the post-it, you know, on my hallway mirror, to remind myself to say my positive affirmations, because I really find that when you constantly recite something, it's almost like writing standards for your brain. You start to believe it. You really, really do. So recite your positive affirmations. Encourage your family to do it, your spouse, your kids. Encourage everybody around you to recite positive affirmations so that just everybody can be in a better position overall. I think when you go out into the world, you really want to arm yourself in the best way you can, and reciting positive affirmations has been astronomical for me. Like, when I leave my house in the morning, there is nothing nobody can say to me or do to me to tear me down, because I've already built myself up to the point that I just feel so solid and so good. And that's through reciting positive affirmations, and honestly through starting to believe them as well. So positive affirmations is a great way to build your confidence. Tell yourself you're beautiful, you're smart, I got this, I am qualified for this job, I know what I'm doing. All the good things you can say to yourself will help. So positive affirmations, that's my last tip. Hope you guys find these helpful. I really, really do, you guys. Now let me tell you a little bit about my journey. So just to tell you guys a little bit about myself, that, you know, things that I haven't really shared. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles. I grew up with both parents in the household for a time during my youth, but eventually both my parents started going through things, and me and my siblings eventually got dumped on our grandmother, and that's our maternal grandmother, my mother's mother. And during that time, I felt an extreme level of depression. I felt like, you know, I wasn't good enough. I just felt like, why am I in this situation? We used to have a nice house. My mom had a great job. My dad did great work as well. Like, we had it made, and I found myself in just a whole different situation. Trust and believe, I was very grateful for it, and I think the best turnout was for me to be raised by my grandmother from the point that I was onto adulthood, because she just did the damn thing with us, you know. But it was a time where I just felt like, you know, I wasn't anybody. I felt like really low. When you're rejected or abandoned by a parent, it's a different kind of rejection, and it sticks to you. It sticks. So I really had to get therapy and deal with those feelings, because for a long time, I always questioned myself. I always felt like, you know, I just was never sure of myself because of the situation that I had growing up. And so I had to deal with that. And in high school is when it really got bad, because I found myself in extreme depression during high school, even to the point of suicidal thoughts. And so I really had to address, like, why am I feeling like this? What is going on? And I did the work. And so I'm really grateful to be in a better place. I would never have been able to start my YouTube channel if I didn't have a good level of confidence, because I would never put myself out into the world like that before. I never felt good enough. And so it really took doing the work to get here where I am today. So, you know, just know doing the work, working on your confidence, building up who you are, and following all the tips that I've shared in this video can really help you to not just achieve the life you want, because that may not even happen, but it can definitely put you in a position where this world is less harmful to you, where this world cannot damage you emotionally anymore. That's what building confidence is all about. So I hope this video is really helpful to you guys. That's a little bit about my story, and thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. So really quick before I end the video, I wanted to share a few books with you guys that you can read. These are really good books that I found about confidence and building your confidence. The first is The Confidence Code by Katty Kay and Claire Shipman. This is a really good book because they did a lot of studies to get the information that they got in this book, and so I really appreciate that because I like information that's backed up by, you know, real actual studies. So this book is awesome, and it really talks about the root of confidence. I want to read one clip from it, one quote from it. It says, "We found that success correlates more closely with confidence than it does with competence. Yes, there is evidence that confidence is more important than ability when it comes to getting ahead." So confidence is more important than competence. So can you believe that? Like, just knowing that you can do something is more important than actually knowing how to do it, okay? Of course you got to know how to do it, but just the idea of knowing that you can is more important. So get this book. This is a really good one. The other one that I have is The Gifts of Imperfection. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. This is by Brene Brown, a PhD, and this is just a really, really good book. And it's a quick read. It's something that you can read really fast, and it's easy to read through, so I like that book a lot. The next one is Unstoppable Self-Confidence: How to Create the Indestructible Natural Confidence of the 1% Who Achieve Their Goals, Create Success on Demand, and Live Life on Their Terms. And this is by Andrew Liedman. This is such a good book as well. It did take me a little longer to read this one than the others, but I found it to be an awesome book and have a lot of really great points in it about how the rich get where they are, and confidence has a great amount to do with it, their level of confidence. So if you want to know how, you know, people who are at that top 1% got there based on interpersonal skills, this is a good book to help you out. So yeah, read that one. The last one I want to share with you guys is called The Self-Confidence Workbook: A Guide to Overcoming Self-Doubt and Improving Self-Esteem by Barbara McWay and Celia Ample. This is another great book. It's a workbook, so you actively fill out like prompts in this one to help you, you know, just figure out how to build your confidence where you are in life. I really love books like this that prompt you to answer questions because I find them to be so thought-provoking. So this is another really great one, and of course I've linked all of these books for you all. But yeah, that's my list on the books. I hope you guys check these out. They are really helpful. Thank you guys so much for sitting through this awesome video with me. This was like really therapeutic for me. I truly enjoy empowering people and really sharing my journey and helping you guys just to really do your best in life. And I think to do that, you have to have a certain level of confidence. So I hope this video is helpful to you all. I hope it helps you to really build that strong and unbreakable confidence. Like I said in the video, it is a work in progress, so it's ongoing work, but you can do it. So I hope this video was helpful. I've linked all of the books that I shared with you all in the description, so if you're interested in picking any of those up, check that description. But thank you again for watching the video, and yeah, I think I'm gonna go frolic in this water a little bit, y'all.